I think you're trying to say, have I started Dragon Age yet? And the answer is no. I have not started Dragon Age yet. I don't actually own Veilguard yet. Because I wanted to finish Metaphor, which I just finished yesterday. Which, what a masterpiece. What a masterpiece that game is. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, it was beautiful. The storytelling was great. There were moments where I was like, even King was sitting there at one point with me, and he was like, are you getting teary-eyed? And I was like, yes I am. Leave me alone. Hello. He's awake. He's up. He's behind me. He's here. He's alive. He's going to the gym. Is that a yes, you're going to the gym, or I don't know?
I am. It's not happening.
Well, that's fair. I'm here chilling in PJs and you going to the gym.
Yeah, no.
It's wild. Will it beat Game of the Year nominee Balatro? I mean, it is nominated for Game of the Year. I think here's the thing. I think if Final Fantasy VII Rebirth wasn't also there, I think maybe, but I think in terms of like the people that vote on this, that sit on whatever council or committee they have, I do unfortunately think that 2 JRPGs are going to split the vote.
Yep.
I'll just be quite honest. Like, I think it's going to end up splitting the vote. Was Astrobot nominated for Game of the Year because I feel like that's what could end up taking it. I think
Astrobot will solely because you're not splitting a fan base. It's either you like platformers or you don't.
Yeah, you like platform. I mean, but Balatro's kind of the same thing. Like, you like roguelikes or you don't.
I think Balatro's way too niche.
I don't know that it is. I think it got a lot of, because it's card based, it's poker, and then it's also like the roguelike aspect. No worries, GK. You go ahead and do what you gotta do. Nope. I really hope it's not Elden Ring. I'll be quite honest. I really hope that Elden Ring does not take it. Like, forgetting the, like, I get it. It's a DLC, right? And it's a long DLC. It's a big DLC, whatever. Like, I just don't think, I don't think those games are that good. Like, I'll just be honest. When you compare to the other stuff that's out there, I just don't think those games are that good. Like, there's 2 JRPGs, 2 Souls-like, 1 platformer, and 1 card game. Well, but that's the thing. The 2 Souls-like could also end up doing the same thing that JRPGs do and splitting the vote.
They will.
So, I mean, Wukong won the Golden Joystick and won something else I thought recently. So, I mean, it's definitely gotten praise and acclaim from different award ceremonies. So, I mean, I haven't done my vote for the thing yet. I mean, we can do that now. We can do that together, and y'all can see my choices. The Game Awards, right? Because you can vote. How many Oscar noms will Wicked get? So Swifty and I were talking about that yesterday, actually, after seeing the movie. We were saying, do we think... I don't think the Souls games... No, Souls games... Here's the thing. Souls games have story, but I know a lot of it is also, like, you have to find it yourself. And, like, you know, find it yourself. You know, you can totally skip it. It's not always important. Although, I will say, I do think Wukong does have the story as part of what you're doing. So it's different in that way also. Which I'll give that the credit where it's due, because I think the whole thing with Wukong is you are literally doing the story to get this power to do stuff. Okay, let me go here and let's just do the Game Awards together so you can see what I think. You don't have to agree, but you can just get a feel of what I'm thinking. Okay, so Wicked will get Best Picture. Will it get so okay, one of the things Swifty was saying, and I agree with him, is do we think that they would potentially nominate both actresses for Best Actress? Or would they make Ariana Grande supporting actress, right? And the tough thing that I was thinking about is in the movie, the first part, right? And obviously we haven't seen the second part, but like they're in it in equal amount of time, and the story on both sides is kind of just as strong, but it would also then split the vote if they did it that way. Like, it's more for a marketing thing. No, but think about the amount of time and the songs, and like they're probably on screen about the same amount of time. And yes, I think they would cancel each other out if they did both for main actress. And we've seen that happen before at the Academy Awards, right? We've seen that. So then it would be like, oh, well, they split the vote, so neither one of them get it. So, oh, well, I hope that's not what happens, right? But I could see that being possible. Now, in the second half of the show, what I assume the second half of the movie will be, it does feel like there is less of Galinda, right? So I'm hoping that they will do the supporting thing, but we'll see. You know, we'll see. I think no matter what, there's a part of me that thinks no matter what, they're not going to win. Musicals are tough, as we know, but we'll see. Yeah, but will the studio be smart enough to market them that way? Will they be smart enough to market them that way? I don't know. But we'll see. It's too early for me to think about the Academy Awards. Plus, I haven't seen that many movies. I was talking to Swifty about this, and I was like, what other movie would there be for, like, best movie? And I was like, I haven't seen a damn thing that I would nominate for best movie. Like, what else would you nominate? You gonna put Gladiator? I mean, I didn't even see Gladiator, but... Ow! Hi, Lars. How you doing? Welcome in. All right, so let's do this, right? Game of the year. Now, again, I've said, you know what? No, let's start. Can I start at the bottom? Oh, I can't start at the bottom. The all categories. Let's start here. Let's start at the bottom with the ones that I don't really care about. Okay. Lars, welcome in. Okay, so esports team. I don't know nothing about nothing, right? I don't know who any of these people are. So let's just go based on game, and let's just go with Counter-Strike. I don't know. All right, if I go this way, okay, cool. Wait, was A Quiet Place day 1 this year? Elpis, how you doing? Welcome on in. I don't know any of these people either. I've heard the name Faker, so sure. Best esports game. I got nothing on this. Let's just go with a game that I don't hate that much. We'll go with Valorant. But again, I got nothing. According to Vanity Fair, Wicked, Nora, I didn't see. Amelia Perez, I didn't see. Conclave, didn't see. Gladiator 2, didn't see. The Brutalist, Dune Part 2. Complete Unknown, Sing Sing, The Room Next Door. So many of those are just Oscar bait movies. I fucking hate it. I hate it. So literally out of all of those, I've only seen Wicked. Oscar. Yeah, I don't like Oscar baity movies. I just don't. All right, let's go for Pecora because she's cute. Dune was so good. I still haven't seen the first Dune. Elpis, I loved Wicked. I've seen it twice already. Wicked was so good. Highly recommend. Okay, I highly recommend if you like Broadway and you like musicals. If you don't, you're gonna be out. Right? If you don't, you're gonna be out. But if you do like them, then you'll be in. I want to see a complete unknown Bob Dylan movie. I saw a Bob Dylan musical and I hated it. Girl from the North Country. I absolutely hated it. I was like, this is awful. Why? Like, oh, it was like all the music that like did not like no. And I was like, this is so depressing. But I realized I'm not a huge Bob Dylan fan. So there's that. Boogalicious. How you doing? Welcome in. we're doing our game awards voting before we jump into a game. Most anticipated game. Now, enjoy your Star Wars. I'm gonna say, personally, my most anticipated is Monster Hunter Wilds. But can Death Stranding even count as most? No, this is the sequel. I thought that was the sequel, not the remaster. Didn't the remaster already come out? I think realistically, Ghost of Yote. Realistically. Like, yeah. Death Stranding 2 is a sequel. Best adaptation. Best adaptation, I have to go with Fallout. Now, I have not seen Arcane, I'll be honest, but Fallout was just so good, and I didn't even play the Fallout games. I wasn't into it that way. I've watched people play it because obviously King has played it, but I thought Fallout was just so amazing. I have not heard great things about the Like a Dragon show, and I've heard Arcane is great, but I think Fallout just really got it. I think it was a vibe. It was a little gory. You know, I think it was also I think it was a world that you could see yourself in, right? But I think the tone was perfect, right? I think the characters all really bounced off each other very, very well. I think they are showing the different factions in great ways. I think the nice thing is that it's not a one-for-one like remake. Like, they're not telling you the story of like Fallout 4. They're not telling you the story of like Fallout New Vegas, right? They are telling you a new story in this universe, but they did it, you know, really well with hints and nods to other things, right? So I think that I think just raised the bar. I think everybody loves some Walter Goggins. That's true. Best multiplayer. So I know King has played Warhammer and Helldivers. I haven't played Jamboree, but I think Jamboree would get my vote. I do want to pick... Jamboree is on my list of games to pick up. There's 2 games that I know I need to pick up. Jamboree and Dragon Age. A part of me is like, maybe I'll just wait until like Christmas and my parents will send me some money or something. Hopefully. I don't know. They keep going back and forth on what the hell they want to do. But so I think... I think based on what I've seen, right? Mario Party gets the vote. You know, I think Helldivers was fun. Obviously, they had some things that did not go well with the whole, like, having to have a PlayStation Network account and then not having it. Warhammer, I've heard the missions take too long. Right, so there's that. Plan on playing Black Ops. I mean, I think if you like those games, like, you know, you'll definitely appreciate them. Hello, Raven. Welcome on in. We're doing this before we jump into The Wolf Among Us. Best sports and racing game. I have really no horse in this race. You know, I'm gonna go with what I think is gonna be the dark horse in this, and I'm gonna go with Topspin, just because it'd be cool to see it win. I don't think it's going to, but you know, why not? Okay, so best sim strategy. I think the only one I've played is Unicorn Overload, and I didn't even get that far. Quite honestly. It do be the sports ball. No, you know what? I didn't play Unicorn Overload. I want to. Overlord, sorry. I want to, and I have not played it yet. This is another Atlas game. Atlas is who published it. It's another tactics game, which is why I've been really interested in it. I think I have it hard copy. Unicorn is definitely more our jam. But that's what I would go with. I mean, this time next year, I'll probably be voting for a Civ, but Unicorn Overload. Best family game. I'm gonna go again with Jamboree on this one. I heard Princess Peach was a lot of fun, but I think if we're talking about family play, then Jamboree allows the whole family to play together. Yeah, Civ 7 comes out next year, I think February. So Civ 7 next year. Best fighting game. Best fighting game. Multiverses is fun, but I don't think... I looked up Unicorn Overload and couldn't find it. Really? I don't know if it was hard copy only. I mean, it's an Atlas game, so I wouldn't be super surprised. I'm gonna give this to... I think nostalgia is gonna hit people. Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't think it was on PC. You know, sometimes Atlas takes a while to put stuff out. Alright, best RPG. Listen. This should not be a surprise. I've heard mixed thoughts about Sparkling Zero. That's fair. That's fair. What did I give it to? I don't even remember. Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah, the nostalgia. The nostalgia. Okay. So best RPG. Now listen. I really enjoyed my time on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I did. Until like 75-80% of the way through, that like it just felt so bloated with minigames. And I was like, these minigames are not progressing the story, right? They're not giving me anything new, right? It was just minigame after minigame after minigame to continue getting through things, and sort of unnecessary minigames. There is like flying and stuff first, flying on the chocobos, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of fun, until you realize how difficult it was to get like the points you need or to control, and I was like, no. Now there were parts about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that I absolutely love. Fuck them chocobos. Exactly. Fuck them chocobos, right? So that felt really bloated. You know, spoiler alert, there is a side quest that it is literally go to the golden saucer and get the high score in all the games. And I'm like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to just play a whole bunch of mini games, right? If I want to play a whole bunch of mini games, I will boot up Mario Party, right? So I knock points on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for that reason. I spent about the same amount of time playing Final Fantasy VII as I did Metaphor. And never did I feel like I was just doing side quests for no reason in Metaphor. Oh, they think that one should be a party. Yeah, no, I could see the Dragon Ball fighting game just being a party game. I've never really taken them as like a serious fighter game, quite honestly. So, agreed to heart, even the spoiler task to ride chocobos in a certain area every time. Yeah, no, Chihuahua, exactly. I mean, there were times where I was just like venting to Lars and GK about like the chocobos and the mini games, and I was just like, I can't do it with like, and there were things that I just skipped because I was like, this is irrelevant to everything else. I was getting so frustrated. And then the very last fight at the end, I feel like the difficulty went from like, if the overall difficulty of the game was like a 7-ish, all of a sudden the last fight went up to like a 10. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what? I was like, why? Where did this ramp up come from? If I wanted Dark Souls in my freaking game, I would play Dark Souls. Like, I am not trying to do that. Like, that's, no. The difficulty leap was beyond anything that Final Fantasy has had in the past. They're always tough. They're not cakewalks. But that was beyond tough. That was like, and they knew, again, also, spoiler alert. Every time he did that stupid move and killed you, he would look back and smirk at the camera. And I was like, these motherfuckers knew what they did. They knew this smirk was like, haha, got you again. Like, you knew what you did. You knew that you put in Stranger of Paradise level difficulty in this game after the game wasn't that difficult. And then you had to sit through all of that all over again. The number of times I saw the same cutscenes, I was like, bruh, no, I don't need to see the same cutscene over and over and over. It was so frustrating. The number of times I had to see her, I'll just say her, so, you know, that narrows it down like half the cast, walk through the thing and show up. I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god. So, like, it was... You thought Vincent was harder? I had no problem with... I think I died to Vincent maybe twice, maybe 3 times. I think I died to the final boss. And again, not the whole final boss. That's the other thing. It wasn't the entire final fight. It was just the very ending, right? And I think I died there probably about 50 times. It was ridiculous and such a leap. And it's such a leap from the rest of that fight, too. So I was like, nah, fam. Nah. Dragon's Dogma 2 got the nomination over Veilguard. I didn't play Dragon's Dogma, but I heard that it was not so great. Veilguard, I think, just got a lot of bad press, honestly. But yes, anyway, so my best RPG goes to Metaphor. This should not be surprising to anybody. I love this game. 10 out of 10. It took me about 101 hours to finish. I don't think that I did... I don't think I technically got 100% because there were little side things that I didn't do. Like, I didn't cook all the different types of food. Things like that. But I think Metaphor is such an amazing game. I think the themes, especially in 2024, really touch upon... So, I know, right? Me, an Atlas fan, like, who would have thought? The themes, all the, you know, unfortunately, the way that it hits with the racism and the people in power and how people seize power and how they view power and what they do with that power, right? And that's just story based, right? Then you get to the job class system, which is so reminiscent of like old school JRPGs where you have to pick a job class for people, right? And they will match the right job class. And Fire Emblem games still do this to an extent. But being able to mix and match your party based on their classes to find the right tactical combo is so important. And they even add it into the moves that the characters can do when they do their synthesis, right? So if you don't have the right party lineup, you're not going to get the same synthesis skills, which may or may not make the fight easier for you. I think the characters are all just so rich, right? There's not a character that I didn't like. You know, I think my favorite is Stroll, if I'm being totally honest, but there's not a character that I would say I hated them. Whereas in other games, I've been like, I didn't really like this character. Even characters that feel like they join you very late in the game, you have these introductions, and you end up like spending time with them and getting to know them in such a way that is just so beautiful. You know, I think the fights are smooth. There are ways to grind without having to do turn-based combat every time, which is nice. You know, I just think it's okay. It's on my playlist, but I have so many other games to finish. No, that's fair. Checking the weather more in a game than I'll be honest, I didn't check the weather that much in the game because if you go on a day with bad weather, while the fights will be harder, you will also get more experience. Just a little tidbit, if you are curious. But yeah, 101 hours. The final fight was, again, like every JRPG, the final fight was tough, and I had to be very mindful of how I balanced my magic and my items and the party that I came in and what that party looked like, and what archetypes they had, because I call them archetypes instead of powers. I like that all of the characters could switch out, whereas like in Persona, only your main character switches out. there's nods to the Persona games and the Shin Megami Tensei games, which is really clever, but you wouldn't have had to play those past games. For those of us that did, it's fun to see, oh, there's the mask, right? There's this. So that's a fun little thing. You know, I just think they did really, really great with the game. And it makes sense because the main guy left the Persona and Shin Megami Tensei like development teams to launch something new, right? To do something that was more fantasy, realizing that Persona was going in a different creative direction, right? And he decided he wanted to try something different. And there's still a lot of people that worked on Persona that worked on this game as well. But Studio Zero is like the new production company under Atlas. And I really hope that we get more games like this. This game took them, I think, something like 8 years. Because I think they started in 2016. So, you know, a labor of love for sure. And I will gladly wait another 8 years. Well, I mean, not gladly. I will wait another 8 years if I have to. I hope it's sooner than that. But such a well done game. Such a well done game. So that is my best RPG. I could talk about it all day. I won't because I know not everybody wants to hear that, but I could. Best action adventure. Combat, traversal, and puzzle solve. I pray it's sooner and I'm barely into it. Well, I mean, we might get Persona 6 before we get the next metaphor. Hopefully. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't play any of these. But based on what I've seen and heard, I'll give this to Astrobot. Like, people really like Astrobot. Yeah, everyone that I know has played it has said it's a lot of fun. I'm not huge on platformers. I mean, Star Wars is huge. You know, people who love Star Wars really love it. But I think Astrobot is gonna take it there. Best action game. I feel like Stellar Blade came and went. I feel like Warhammer also kind of came and went. I think this goes to Wukong. Honestly. I think that goes to Wukong. Best VR. I don't have VR, so I don't really know. So this is just going to be like a shot in the dark. So let's just go with Asgard's Wrath. I have no idea. I don't have VR. I don't know many people that have VR. Best mobile game. What is amazing to me is that the Pokemon trading card game is already here. Now, I too am playing it, and I too am having fun with it. It is just amazing to me that it is on here because it came out like it felt like 3 days before the categories. I would like to see Zenless Zone Zero get it. I don't think they will. I would like to see this. I think it's going to end up going to Pokemon. I don't even think it's going to go to Balatro. Wait, what are you downloading, Chihuahua? Are you downloading the Pokemon trading card game? It's free. It's fun enough. I like deck building games, like, as a whole. So I enjoy the game. And I'm not a huge Pokemon fan, but I enjoy it. So take that for what you will. So, Raven, you think the Batman VR game is the better game? Again, I feel like I have no horse in that race because I have no idea. I just went with whatever on the VR because I don't have VR. King is not good with VR. It makes him sick. So we don't have a VR headset. Best debut indie game. I gotta give it to Balatro. I am interested in playing Balatro. I have not played it yet, but I am very interested. Best independent game. Again, I think Pacific Drive. I've heard a little bit about Pacific Drive. I just feel like Balatro has just like blown things out of the water. So I'm also going to give it best independent game here. I think it's just like, I don't think anybody expected it to blow up in quite that way. And it just did. It just did. Best community support. Now, come on. Y'all know this has to go to Baldur's Gate again, right? Like, yeah. Like, let's be real. right? The fact that we are still getting huge patches, right? The fact, you think No Man's Sky? I feel like Baldur's Gate has been super responsive, like super good about patches, big and small, really hearing from the community and being like, the community wants X, Y, and Z. I mean, we're getting another, I feel like 2 patches ago they said no more big patches, and now they're like, okay, actually we're gonna include all these new subclasses. Like, I just feel like they have really wanted to support this game. Again, a labor of love, like, and they are just all about it. So I have to give it to Baldur's Gate. In the year plus that it's been out, it's amazing. It is amazing the amount that they've done. They've done 3, 4 big patches. It's turned around so hard. Chihuahua's like, I can't let it go. Can't let it go. Yeah, no. I mean, Larian is just like, we don't care. We're putting these things out. Like, this is what the people want. And I'm here for it. I mean, Kay and I finished the playthrough, obviously. And I haven't touched it yet, but once we get that next big patch, I'm gonna have to go do it again. I'm gonna have to do it again. All new subclasses. So best ongoing. I like Fortnite being on here. I'm like, really? It's just that, I mean, I get they keep adding additional things, but like, really? I would like to see it go to Final Fantasy XIV. I don't think it will. But wait, Godzilla dropped today? Really? Games for Impact. Considering I've played none of these, because one of them just straight up is like, no, you don't get to play. But based on what I know about some of these games, I want to give it to Neva. I want to give that to Neva. Sorry, Life is Strange. You making me too angry. Innovation in accessibility. I don't know. Oh, Godzilla's in the new Fortnite. Jesus Christ. I have heard that this was one of the places that Dragon Age shines. I don't know that that's true, again, because I haven't played it. But I heard that this is one of those. One of the things that I'm somewhat I get it. You know, right? Like, I feel like even for all the people that have talked a lot of shit about Dragon Age, this feels like the one that people have said they really like did their best to make it accessible to people. So like, this is where my vote is going. Because even in the articles where people have like said shit, that's the one shining thing. I feel like no one has talked about well, maybe I just haven't seen it, but I feel like no one talked about the accessibility in Outlaws. What was their take? Voiceover acting. I'll be honest, after finishing Metaphor, I'm a little upset that the guy who voices Luis isn't here. But I'll give it to Brianna White. I'll give it to her. A great story. Chihuahua played the first one. I'm pretty sure. Best in-game audio and sound design. I'm trying to think. I mean, I played Final Fantasy VII. I've seen some of Astrobot, and I've seen some of Silent Hill 2. I feel like I might give this one a Silent Hill 2. Like, Final Fantasy was good. I don't remember the audio and sound design being that much in the game. I know that some of the Astrobot stuff, though, also comes through your controller, which is sometimes a little bit harder to get if you're watching people, like, stream it. Let's give it to Silent Hill. It's eerie enough. I've just been broke hole was slowly getting. Was it a stunning? Has amazing sound effects from the intro part. I played in the first one, never finished it though. That's fair. That's fair. Score and music. Okay, listen now. I know that Lars loves the song from Final Fantasy VII, right? There's one song that like he absolutely loves, but when you hear my man going off in Esperanto, damn, that man got bars, okay? That man got bars. Like, Outlaws has narrative tracks for the cinematics if you're blind, multiple colorblind options, tons of controller options. Oh, that's really good, actually. I didn't realize that Outlaw, like, had all that. I couldn't finish the first one and brought up really rough memories. I've never played the first Senua Hellblade. I haven't played it. I mean, listen, we can potentially add that to the list. We can potentially add it to the list. Listen, I want y'all to go listen to my man singing in Esperanto, because my gosh. Best art direction. I feel like this. I love Metaphor. There are some issues. There are a few times where the frames seem a little off, which it's not super noticeable. There's like one or two scenes towards the end where I was like, oh, it seems like something cut a little bit. And it may have been my PlayStation. It may have been the game. I don't know. I do really like the art style of Neva. It's different. Whereas like, I feel like Metaphor is very similar to the Persona games with the anime style. I really like the style from just like an artistic standpoint. I really like the style of Neva. Like the watercolor sort of, not full on watercolor. I'm like blanking on the words. Neva or Astrobot. Yeah, I was thinking between those two, but I feel like for me, it's Neva. I feel like there's just something really beautiful about the way they've done it. That yes, it is something like really well done. But I don't know, something about Neva just like I think it is the uniqueness. It's just really like beautiful. You know, so there's something different about it. Something different compared to a lot of like the bigger games. There was never a thought in my mind. Best narrative. Okay. I mean, listen. I already talked a lot about this, right? Best narrative. I'm giving it to Metaphor. Right? Like, I'm giving it to Metaphor. The Final Fantasy VII narrative, it's not done. Right? It's not done. And we know that it's not done. Right? And it feels, even when you finish the game, it is a wonderful stopping point. Right? But we know that the narrative of Final Fantasy VII as a whole is not done. And because the idea of like, we're going against the big boss and going against the big this and the big, you know, like, you know that there is still more to come. So it does, the storytelling is good, but it does feel like there is still stuff that is missing. Which there is. That's what the third part is for, whenever they tell us what it is. You know, so there's that. Obviously, I haven't played Senua. Silent Hill is a remake. You know, I haven't played Like a Dragon, I'll be honest, but I'm giving it to Metaphor because, again, I think the storytelling was amazing. And it's not just the storytelling of the main character, it is everybody's character arcs. So, Metaphor gets it. Metaphor gets best narrative. Best game direction. Creative vision and innovation. See, I think this is where I would probably give it to Astrobot. I'm going to snooze these ads for a little bit. We'll do an ad break before we jump into the actual game, but, you know, for now. I think game direction is where I'm going to give it to Astrobot. I think, you know, I enjoyed it from both best Yakuza games. Still, the story is just there to get you between fights like a classic Kung Fu. And I think that's fine. I think that's like what the game is presenting to you, Raven, that like this is kind of the gameplay style that like you'll get, and I think that's fine. I think if that's what you're looking for, right, and then I think it's like you get what you expect, right? And I think that's what in some cases games should do. I think sometimes they rely too much on that, but if they're like, this is what you're gonna get and that's what you get, then no reason to be upset. But yeah, I think Astrobot takes this one. Astrobot just feels like the way they set it up, the design of it, I think that just has to get it. You know, and then again, game of the year at this point, start with 0. Oh yeah, that's right. There is isn't there like a Yakuza 0? You mean I can't just jump in with the new one and be a pirate? I can't just be a pirate? Best experience across all creative and technical fields. You know, again, no surprise here, or it should be no surprise to y'all. Like, I'm giving this to Metaphor, right? I think that it was an amazing experience, right? I think the tweaks that they did to the formula that they already have is just fantastic, right? And when I talk about the form, I'm talking about like the social links, I'm talking about the turn-based combat, the idea of having a navigator, right? All of that is amazing. You know, it comes across like a very crisp, clean game. I didn't even talk about the menu UI, right? Is fantastic, right? If you are looking at it, it's a story that's very relatable, I think, in many ways. And even if you don't relate with the main character, there's probably somebody else that you will relate with. Very emotional at times. The bonds between the characters feel very real. And there's no romance in this, right? Which I know a lot of people are kind of upset about. I appreciate that there's no romance because it feels like we are not looking at sort of surface level things. We are really talking about the bonds between these characters in this world that is constantly holding them down or holding them back because of their race or something that happened to them, or them not being able to be who they want to be in this world, and having to hide, you know, behind a glamour or something. And it's just, it is so well done, right? So the user interface of the menus is very easy. The fight menus are very easy. If at any point, like, you're not sure, there are places and people to talk to get guidance. You know, they also take the social links from 10 to 8, so it doesn't feel like you are stuck trying to rush to talk to everybody and do everything. Yeah, I just, like, there's not all these mini games to bloat it out like in Final Fantasy VII. It's not a DLC like Elden Ring. Again, I'm not a huge platformer person. I can appreciate them for what they are, but I know Astrobot at its core is a platformer. Balatro, I do love me some roguelikes, if you know me. I don't think that it is telling a story and doing all these things that are so important in the same way. And I know that some people really love Wukong, and I get it, and I do appreciate that Wukong is telling a story while you are doing these things. You know, while you're doing the fights, and the fights are because you're working towards some ultimate goal, but it's just not for me. So yeah, Metaphor. Right now, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a very close second, but it's Rebirth to me. You know, it's Rebirth. That's the one. That's the one. And let me catch up. Talking about the Yakuza games. Entry still would have lost to Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. I do think at this point we need like a DLC, maybe like a DLC and I don't know, remake, like a DLC remake. You know, like I feel like we need that. I feel like we need that. Wukong Game of the Year for me. I mean, I understand, like from what I've seen about Wukong, I understand why so many people love it and why it's winning awards, because I think it won the joystick award, right? You know, so I think it's the golden joystick. You know, I understand why it won, but I don't feel like it's the game for me. Elden Ring DLC will win, otherwise they wouldn't change. I mean, ultimately, yes, I think it's going to win. Do I want it to win? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, maybe they'll do a bait and switch. Maybe they'll surprise us. But I absolutely do not want to see a DLC win. Right? So, like, get out of here with that nonsense. Like, I think it's dumb. And honestly, I don't think Elden Ring is that good. But again, I'm a story person. Give me story. Don't just give me hard gameplay just to be hard. And I feel like Elden Ring kind of, the hype with the DLC kind of came in. Like, everybody was so excited and they got it. And it was like, it's just more of the same. So yeah, that's my, that's what we voted.